going to absolutely flip for this one. We promise that this show will stick with you for a long time. Oh no, not in my house. Hey Dusty, we always have a great time. Sports Night is next.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howard Shapiro.
That's how you start
live
the
television.
show.
Yeah.
We start with the previous week's intro,
Yeah,
and then threw me off because I thought we were still.
We just can't get enough of Aaron Yun, though. That's the key.
Well, you know, it's worth it. It's worth it. We are getting very near the end now. Boys hockey team done with the regular season. They'll be in sections this week. Girls hockey team obviously done. We have state tournament for the Nordic ski team this past week, and the boys basketball team a couple weeks left. Girls basketball team will finish their regular season this week.
This week, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's section playoffs for them next week. So,
and then very soon the sun will come out and it'll be time to play baseball.
The sun will come out tomorrow
and run on the track and field. But we have some stuff to talk about here tonight. The boys hockey team closed out its regular season last week, starting with their final game on home ice on Tuesday. The River Lakes Stars are a single-A club that came in with 13 wins, including 3 of their previous 4. They have a balanced scoring attack and a defense that limits opportunities. Still, it's a team the Cardinals can skate with in a game they had a chance to win. Only score of the first off a face-off win, played back to the point. Sam Zier fires off the end boards right to Tanner Stanley at the back door. He puts it in a wide-open net, 1-0 River Lakes. Cardinals with a chance to tie late in the first 2-on-1, but Ari Koval is shut down point blank. Stays 1-0 into the break. Good hustle by Koval gets the Cards a chance early in the second. He drops this one off for Nate Clark. Keeper gets a stick on it, and the Cardinals still scoreless. Speed kills. Ethan Howard able to get around the defense midway through the second. Nice move to his backhand out front, and Stars have a little insurance. They get some more on the power play before the end of the period. Shot from the point by Blake Blattner is stopped, but Stanley right there for his second tally of the night. 3-0 River Lakes after 2. They get one more in the third off the Cardinals turnover. This one just gift wrap for Griffin Dunnick. He doesn't miss. Stars hand the Cardinals a 4-0 loss in their final game at the Crick this season.
You know, obviously they've had a number of tough losses. This was a tough loss for them because I think Coach Rock felt coming into this game they had an opportunity to get a win. I mean, they certainly needed one at this point in the season, but unfortunately they did not get it done.
There have been a number of those games that they looked at as more winnable than some others, perhaps. That was definitely one of them, and it gets away from them in 4-0 fashion. The one to close out the regular season, you'd always like to say that you never feel that you can't win, but Andover is a pretty good club.
They are.
13-0 the final against the number 1 ranked team in the state. Now, at the end of the night, it said 75-3 shots on goal in favor of the Huskies, which meant the Cardinals didn't have a shot on goal after the first period. But in the hub, it said 90-5. It looks better on both ends. Give Connor a couple more saves. He definitely deserves another 15 or 16 saves. I don't know that he saw 90 shots in that game, but he was very busy.
You know, and I don't know what the final stats are at this point, but how many shots that he has seen this season it has to be astronomical.
Well, last year he saw more shots than any other goaltender in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, got to be close.
The only reason he has not seen the most this year is because that Aaron has played some more games, so he's taken more some of those shots. But the Cardinals give up a lot of shots on a regular basis.
They do.
And it makes it very tough to win. And, of course, as the number 8 seed after a 2-23 year, they will face the number 1 ranked or number 1 seeded Blaine Bengals, a team that beat them 9-0 early in the schedule. Totino Grace, the number 4 seed, will take on Champlin Park in the other game at that one is over at Coon Rapids. Because
right, they switched.
They split.
Yep.
The other game at Champlin is the Centennial and Osseo game. Champlin Park Totino, and then Maple Grove Spring Lake Park, the 2 games at Coon Rapids on Thursday. We'll be over. I will be over at Champlin to watch the game.
Yes.
But our friends from North Metro will be there.
They will be covering
both of those games. So we will have coverage of the game, but it will not be Howie and I.
as disappointed as everyone will be. Well, the wrestling team went into last Friday's section tournament feeling pretty good about their chances, but knowing nothing is a given. The Cardinals earned the second seed, which meant a first-round matchup with Andover, a team they dominated earlier in the year, 57-18. Still, they weren't going to take anything for granted. Cardinals looking to counter an early lead for Andover. Israel Madimba gets his man to the mat late in the second. That was the first of 6 pins for the Cardinals. And then we're going to show them all to you. 132, Nick Lattery with a great headlock right at the start of the second, throws his man to the mat. That made it 15-10 Coon Rapids, and they never trailed again. And more pinning action. Alex Kowalczyk makes quick work of Thomas Jones at 145. He gets the pin in just 29 seconds. Want another quick one? Start of the second at 152, Dalen Jones flips Chase Patterson straight to his back. He gets the pin in 2:11. Nice job there. Get him over, gets the pin, slaps the mat for the win. We're going to fast forward to the big guys. Riley Hargrave headlock. They go together. He puts Nate Bieberg onto his back late in the third period at 2:20, squeezes for the pin. Move to the heavyweights. Andover's Vincent Johnson almost survives the second period against top-ranked Gavin Layton. Layton gets the pin with 4 seconds left in the second. Huskies closer this time, but still a convincing 46-23 win for the Cardinals.
That put the Cardinals into the semifinal round, which meant a tough rematch with crosstown rival Blaine. You may recall the regular season meeting that was here on CTN. Coon Rapids came from behind with back-to-back pins in the last 2 matches to win by just 1 point. This was guaranteed to be another tight battle to the very end. Cardinals trying to keep it close in the lower weights, get a big win at 126. Enoch Madimba able to get the escape in overtime, but it was the only win for the Cardinals in the first 6. Blaine was up 22-3 at that point. Then the Cardinals start to come back. Bonus points for Coon Rapids at 152. Dalen Jones dominating his man for the 16-7 major decision. They get another big win at 170 pounds. Darius Cook controls Jima Elshik and scores an 8-3 decision for Coon Rapids. Still, the Cardinals down 25-16 with 3 matches left. Eric Ramos gets his man in the cradle midway through the second period. His pin gets the Cardinals within 3 points. A Blaine decision at 2:20 meant heavyweight Gavin Layton needed a pin to tie and force it to tiebreak. Gavin trying to be aggressive. Blaine kid keeps backing out. And the second or third time, Layton says something to the official about keeping his man on the mat so that he can try and do something. That's a huge penalty point right there. I'll explain in a moment. Gavin, predictably, is able to get Xavier Powers to the mat at the end of the first period. That tied the match when he pinned him at 28. But that penalty point, the first criteria in a tiebreak is points for misconduct. That was determined or considered a misconduct point, and that is the difference in the match. It gives Blaine the extra point. They move on with the 29-28 win. And
that's a tough way to lose it, too. I mean, I don't know what was said between Gavin and the official, and obviously the official felt it was something that was worthy of a penalty point, but
at that point, you know, I've talked about it a lot over the years. The official should not become a part of the decision.
Correct.
Unless it was something very blatant at that point because of what that meant. It's like calling a ticky-tack penalty in overtime of a hockey game, or a small foul at the end of a basketball game.
It's too bad.
You just don't want to see them become and factor into the decision, and that's entirely what happened. Unfortunately, that meant the Cardinals did not get a shot at Forest Lake in the championship. The Rangers did beat the Bengals, so they are going to be the team representing Section 7 at the state tournament. Talking to Coach Bob Adams the next day, he said, you know, I don't know if we would have been able to beat Forest Lake, but I think we deserved a shot with the way our kids came back from down 22-3, and for it to happen again on a questionable penalty call at the heavyweight level.
Yeah, that's
when
a tough way to lose it.
It did seem like there might have been at least a warning for backing out repeatedly in the early goings of that match.
You would have thought so, and again, who knows what was said, but it's just a tough way for the Cardinals to lose that one, because you're right. I mean, would they have beaten Forest Lake? Who knows? But they probably should have had that opportunity to wrestle them.
But that's all right. The season not quite over for the
Nope.
Cardinals. Individual sections are Friday, Saturday this week. Gavin Layton's still undefeated, ranked number 1.
Yep.
He's definitely looks good to get to state. Alex Kowalchuk is the only ranked wrestler in Section 7 at 145. I looked through it. There's only one weight class where there's 0 ranked wrestlers in Section 7, but there are a couple of spots where the Cardinals, only a couple of lower seeds, so a couple of other Cardinals could have a chance to surprise some people and make it out of the section and get to state tournament.
Well, let's hope that happens.
The gymnastics team had its section tournament last week. We were unable to get results. We will pass them along when we get them. I don't believe any Cardinals made it to the state tournament. If I am incorrect, I am
You'll
very
find out.
sorry. Swimming and diving team's been off a couple of weeks. They have their section championships coming up Thursday through Saturday. State championships next week. Should be kind of like the wrestlers, a couple of guys that have a shot to get to the state tournament. Speaking of state tournaments, the state tournament for Nordic skiing had to be moved due to the weather from Thursday to Friday last week, and that's where the Cardinals competed. Abby Ellenbecker, her 4th straight trip to state. Congratulations on a magnificent career. 65th place after the freestyle. She passed 18 people in the classic pursuit. The 32nd fastest classic time, finished 47th in state with a time of 37:02.6. And on the boys' side, Josh Thowen, just a sophomore, making his first appearance, only 94th in the freestyle, but improved 14 places with his performance in the Classic to finish 80th place overall. Congratulations to him as well. Great way to finish that season.
Yeah, congratulations and good luck to both of them.
Absolutely.
Well, the boys basketball team had a chance to exact some revenge on Tuesday against a team that is struggling this season. The Centennial Cougars had just 2 wins on the year, but one of them was an 82-66 victory over the Cardinals. They lost 5 straight, and most of those hadn't been close. So this was a great opportunity for the Cardinals to get some payback. Close game early. Talon Elmy finds Jackson Aurelius with an open look from the wing. He hits the 3-pointer, and the game is tied at 12. Aurelius had 14 in the contest. Later in the half, tied at 29. Now Centennial kicks it back to the trailer. Richard Emmerich puts the Cougars back in front with a long 3. Cougars had 4 players in double digits. Cardinals keeping it close before the break. Long pass to Lucky Morange behind the defense. He led the Cardinals with 18. It's a 6-point deficit at the half. Coon Rapids looking for a fast start in the second. Good rotation to find Elmy for 3. Cardinals trailing, but not letting the Cougars run away. Well, good look on this set. Jordan Doe finds Aurelius slashing through the lane. That made it 49-44. But Centennial able to open the lead after that. Mason Lindsay left all alone. Part of a 28-point effort for him. That pushed the Cougars' lead to double digits. Cardinals bring the pressure on defense, but Centennial able to pass through it. Thomas Palmstring will finish the fast break, and the Cougars sweep the Cardinals, final being 75-63.
Well, that loss is definitely a bitter pill to swallow, but the Cardinals had to rebound to face an even stronger opponent on Friday. They were at home on Valentine's night hosting an Osseo Orioles team that has a similar record but plays in the more difficult West Division. Cardinals would definitely have their hands full with this young but talented lineup. Things start right. Opening tip right to Jaden Palmer. He takes it straight to the rim, gets Coon Rapids on the board first. For the first 9 minutes, everything was working. Palmer with a good feed to Aurelius in the paint for the relatively easy 2. And the Cardinals defense came to factor in as well, helping keep it close. Great steal and speed to the rim by MJ Galama. He gets a 3-point play. It was a 3-point game midway through the first half. Then Osseo took over with a lot of help from 6'4" sophomore Josh Ola-Joseph. Cardinals had no answer for him, and the Orioles kept feeding him. Great passing in close off of the steal. Another dunk for Ola-Joseph. Osseo finished the first half with a 24 unanswered run. They held the Cardinals without a basket for about 13 minutes, from midway through the first until 5 minutes into the second. By that point, it was a 54-19 lead. Orioles soar to a 79-49 win. Jaden Palmer did have a career best 20 points, and Aurelius added 14, but most of that came after the damage was done. Cardinals played with them for the first 9 minutes, and for the last 9 minutes, they played with them, but a lot of that was subs pretty deep on the bench.
You know, Palmer's been playing really well. We've been talking about him especially over the last couple of weeks. Nice contributor there. But you talked about it. This Osseo team, a lot of young players, and they're going to be loaded for a number of years to come.
Oh goodness, they've got 4 guys that are sophomores that are 6'4" or better, including a guy who's 6'9". Ola Joseph dominated that game. He had 36 points. 36. 17 of the 24 points they scored unanswered at the end of the first half were him.
Crazy.
They just had no answer for him. Big, strong, good athlete. He had, I think, 4 dunks in the game. They like to throw the ball up and let him go get it. They're going to be a really fun team to watch. Very dangerous, very dangerous. A lot of good players. The boys basketball team has a couple weeks left, I believe, 5 games. They host Andover on Tuesday, and Howie.
We'll be there.
Then they're at Blaine on Friday, and I believe they travel to Duluth East on Saturday.
I think you're correct. Well, the girls basketball team will wrap up the regular season on Friday. Easy for me to say. Last week started with a visit from Centennial on Tuesday. The Cougars started the season with an impressive 12-1 record and are still fighting for a second spot in the division. They handled the Cardinals easily in round 1, and they came to the Fieldhouse looking to sweep up on the season series. Cougars pounce on the Cardinals right away. Good rotation in the corner to get the open look for Grace Johnson. That puts Centennial up 10-2 early. Well, Cardinals did not have any points from the floor for the first 7 minutes. That's when Sid Carroll was left alone in the corner. She had a team-high 10 points. The Cougars dominant in the first half. Johnson drives and dishes. Hannah Herzig hits the short jumper. Centennial's going to be up by 19. Coon Rapids had just made 4 field goals in the first half. Another 3-pointer from the corner. This time it's Kylie Hetler knocking it down. 31-13 Centennial at the half. Well, the second gets a little bit better, but it's easier when you're facing the second string. Ella Georgie able to follow up on her own miss. She was one of 4 players held to just 4 points. Centennial gets a lot of girls involved. 11 different players score as they cruise to the 65-44 win.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, and again, there's a lot of correlation between the girls basketball and the boys hockey teams this year.
Both struggling mightily.
Both are very young.
Yep.
Both have a lot of more potential than I think what they were able to achieve this year. But one of the biggest faults for both is getting down early and not having any way to answer that.
Yeah, we've talked about all the time. Once you get in a hole, whether it's hockey or it's basketball, it is very difficult, certainly in this conference, to dig out of those holes. And you get down big and you get your work cut out for you.
Yeah, and another parallel with the boys hockey team, the game on Friday, the Cardinals had to look at as a game that got away from them. Not as, when you play as tough a schedule as you do in the Northwest Suburban, again, you don't want to say, well, that's not a very winnable game, but some games are more winnable than others. You have to try and take advantage of those other teams on the lower side of the standings. Cardinals not able to do that, losing the Battle of the Birds by a mere 4 points. Macy Holland had 15, Sid Kerr added 10, Ella Georgie had 9, and Jenny and Tomway had 8. But the Cardinals fall to 2-22 on the year with the 56-52 loss, and they've got just 2 games left in the regular season against the 2 best teams in their section. Yeah. They are at Andover on Tuesday, and they host Blaine on Friday. And Howie,
we'll be there. Does not get easy for them.
One of those 2 teams they will see again in the first round of the playoffs, more than likely.
Yeah, I would think so, and there's a good chance it's going to be Blaine again. So.
Very good chance. But we have boys basketball at home against Andover on Tuesday, girls basketball at home against Blaine on Friday, and most likely girls at Blaine on Wednesday for the first round of the section tournament.
See how that turns out.
But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us, continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young saying good night.